I was given a destiny number. Then a voice started living inside of me. A woman from my own church fellowship asked me for my full name, my date of birth, and my favorite number. 3 months later, OJ, a voice living inside me told me it owned me. This did not happen in a shrine or a forest at midnight. It happened inside a WhatsApp fellowship group. And it could be happening to someone you love right now, today, without you ever suspecting it. I want you to hear exactly how it happened to me from the very beginning, because the woman who did this to me still looks like the most spiritual person you could ever meet. She quotes scriptures. She prayed before every session. Nothing about her looks like darkness. Before I say anything else, OJ, understand that I am not speaking against pastors or against the church itself. I am speaking as someone who lived inside a deception so comfortable that I mistook it for growth. For years, without a single warning sign I could recognize at the time it happened. It did not start with witchcraft. It started with questions. What is my true purpose? Why do certain numbers keep following me? Why did my mother always say I was born with something on me? Ordinary questions, the kind every young person in Kumasi asks when life feels stuck. A woman in my fellowship group noticed I was searching. She said she knew something deeper than Sunday sermons, something she called destiny numbers. She said it was not witchcraft, just ancient wisdom the church never taught us. That single sentence was the first step into darkness. She called herself a spiritual coach, and she carried herself with a calm confidence that made everyone trust her instantly. She spoke softly, quoted psalms between sentences, and always finished her advice with a warm smile that made questioning disrespectful, like doubting an elder. We met properly for the first time at a quiet cafe near Udum, over jollof and fried plantain. She told me she had helped several people in our fellowship discover what she called their spiritual blueprints. I remember feeling honored that she had chosen to notice someone as ordinary as me. She asked for my full name, my date of birth, and the number I loved most since childhood. I answered without thinking twice. I did not know, OJ, that in that world, your name and your date of birth became a spiritual file. Something opens a profile on your life the moment you hand them over. After that came what she called meeting my higher self. She told me to sit quietly in my room in Asukwa, clear my mind, and let my hand move on its own with a pen. Do not think, she said, just receive. That is called automatic writing, and it is pure divination dressed as discipline. One line welcomed 10 more. After that writing came cards she called destiny cards, not tarots. She insisted, just Ghanaian symbolism. Then came stones she called blessing crystals. Then came star signs she said matched my Akan day name. Each one felt small. Together, they were a door swinging wide open. She gave me a small pouch of stones to keep under my pillow, promising they would protect my sleep and sharpen my dreams. She taught me to shuffle her cards every morning before leaving my house, insisting the answers they gave were simply confirmation of what God already knew about me. Nobody falls into this overnight. OJ, it came dressed as healing. It came dressed as self-discovery. It came dressed as energy cleansing. After a hard week of work, Before I understood what was happening, I had opened doors into my own spirits that I did not even know existed inside of me. My dreams began to change. First, I started predicting small things before they happened, reading people's moods the second they entered a room. I thought I had discovered a gift of God. I did not yet understand that anything gained this way always demanded a payment nobody wants you about. I want you to understand something before I continue, OJ. I used to believe the occult only lived in shrines outside the choir, tied in red cloth, speaking to carved idols. I never imagined it could walk into a church wearing white cloth and holding a microphone during worship. The devil does not fight the church from outside anymore. He joins the choir. He sits in the front pew. He changes the vocabulary so nobody recognized him. Let me show you exactly how the same practice I learned from the woman later showed up inside the church walls, wearing new names. What she called manifestation, the church now calls it prophetic declaration. And they are the same seed. What she called opening the third eye, some prayer camps now call spiritual sight, promising you to see what pastor sees. Same practice, different label, same door opening into darkness. What she called aura cleansing, certain deliverance sessions now call releasing heavy energy. What she called an ancestral spirit guide, some members now call my spiritual father who watches over me at night. What she called destiny coding, prophets now sell to a congregation as prophetic numbers for breakthrough. There is one more, OJ, and it troubles me the most. What she called energy transfer, certain gatherings now call it mantle impartation, where a leader touches your forehead and something passes into you. I have felt that same cold shift in my chest that I felt during her automatic writing session. I also noticed that she called reading a person's aura, some fellowship leaders now call discerning a person's spirit before greeting them. And what she once called a ritual altar, certain prayer camps quietly call a sacred prayer point, marked with objects nobody is allowed to question or move. I am not naming any specific church, and I am not accusing every prayer camp of hiding darkness. I am only telling you what I recognized with my own eyes, because I had already learned the original names of these practices before I ever heard a church versions spoken aloud. I still went to church through it all. I still sang. I still raised my hands. I simply added destiny numbers besides my Bible. I did not renounce Jesus. I mixed him with what she taught me. That mixture, OJ, not open rebellion, is exactly how spiritual bondage quietly begins. Social media fed the fire. I followed 3 language pages that told me I was the god of my own reality, that the universe answered to me frequently. It sounded powerful sitting alone at night in Asokwa. I did not recognize I was repeating the oldest lie ever told in the garden. Then came the final stage, the one that still shakes me to speak about. I started hearing a voice I believed was my higher self guiding me gently through decisions. I trusted it completely until one night it spoke back in a tone that was not gentle. It felt like ownership. The dreams turned first. I used to dream ordinary things, market days at Odum, faces from childhood. One night I stood in a courtroom filled with hooded figures, chanting in a language I had never heard. Something gripped my throat when I tried to run. I woke up choking alone, but not alone. The chanting in the dream never fully stopped, OJ. Even after I woke, It lingered somewhere behind my ears for hours, faint but unmistakable, like a radio playing in a distant room. My hands trembled long after sunrise, and I could not explain why to anyone in my own household. I remember staring at the ceiling that first morning, too afraid to close my eyes again, too exhausted to keep them open. My phone should fall in the morning. Outside my window, Asukwa was still quiet. Roosters not yet awake, and I felt completely, terrifyingly alone with whatever had followed me back. I told myself it was only a nightmare until it returned the following week, then the week after that, then almost every night. My room in Asukwa began to feel heavy the moment I switched off the lights, as if something invisible stood in the corner, patient, watching, and waiting. The voice changed after that. It stopped guiding and started commanding. I grew angry without reason. I became suspicious of people who loved me. I stopped smiling at my own mother. Something inside me had gone cold, and I could feel it was no longer only my own mind speaking. The church started to irritate me, which frightened me more than the dreams. Reading my Bible felt like swallowing something bitter. I stopped wanting to be near family. I wanted silence, darkness, and a voice. Looking back now, I understand the plan was never to take my money first. It was to take my heart. Everything in that world runs on exchange. Every insight I received caused something I could not yet see. Every number I consulted, every session with a woman, every quiet moment I let my hand write on its own. It was being recorded somewhere I could not access or control. Opportunities began slipping from my hands, ones I had already secured. Friends I trusted for years suddenly turned distant and cold towards me. Sleep left me completely most nights. My own mind became a battlefield I could not escape, even during daylight hours, walking through a doom market. Even work suffered, OJ. A contract I had already agreed on with a client in Kumasi fell apart for no clear reasons days later. My landlord suddenly grew hostile over nothing. Small losses stacked on top of each other until I could no longer pretend they were simple coincidences or bad luck. I started avoiding mirrors around that time because I did not recognize the tiredness sitting behind my own eyes. My younger sister asked me twice why I looked like someone had drained something out of me. I had no honest answer for her yet, so I said I was only stressed. I tried everything I knew to undo it, OJ. I deleted the numerology chats she sent me. I blocked the woman from my fellowship group. I stopped the writing sessions and threw the stones into a gutter behind my house. Still, the attacks continued, sometimes worse than before I resisted. I do not understand yet that this was never a hobby I could simply walk away from. It was a covenant, and covenants do not end because you regret signing them. Something stronger than my own willpower would have to break whatever agreement had already been made in the spiritual file. The breaking point came on an ordinary Tuesday night, close to midnight. I had not slept properly in weeks. Every time I shut my eyes, I returned to the dark courtroom. That night, the voice did not stay inside my head. It felt present in the room, standing behind me. I froze completely. Something told me if I did not fight back that night, I would lose my mind for good. I was never a deeply religious person growing up in Ejisun. Never the loudest voice in church, but I remembered one name my grandmother used to whisper over sickness. I opened my mouth, OJ, and the only word that came out was small and broken. Jesus, help me. I said it again, louder this time. The room shifted instantly, like the air itself became angry. My chest tightened as though something invisible was pressing down, refusing to let go easily. I kept shouting the name, my voice cracking, tears running freely down my face. Jesus, if you are real, save me tonight. Something in that room resisted with everything it had. And in that resistance, I finally understood the truth. This was never energy. It was a kingdom, and I had joined the wrong kingdom. I fell to the floor after that, and for the first time in months, I prayed a real prayer. Not an affirmation, not a numerology chant, not a manifestation script. I confessed every session, every number, every card. Every night I let my hand move without my own permission. I called each thing by name, renouncing every agreement I remember making, even the ones I had forgotten until that moment. I cried until there was nothing left inside of me to release. And slowly, the heaviness in the Asuka room began to lift, piece by piece, like a window opening. The words came out broken that night, but I remember most of what I said. Father, I confess I opened door to darkness through numbers and charts, and a voice I mistook for guidance. I renounce every covenant made knowingly or unknowingly. I break every tie with the world in the name of Jesus Christ. I remember I kept praying until my voice gave out, repeating the name of Jesus over and over until it stopped feeling like a word and started feeling like a shield. Somewhere in those hours, without any dramatic light or vision, I simply felt the weight in my chest quietly let go of me. From that night, OJ, I closed every door permanently. I deleted the pages that once fed my curiosity. I unfollowed the coaches, blocked the woman from my fellowship group, and stopped attending anything connected to that cycle. I did not fade out slowly. I cut it out completely, without looking back. My dreams returned to normal within weeks. Market days in a doom, my late father's voice, nothing more. The commanding tone disappeared from my thoughts entirely. My mother noticed the change in my eyes before I ever explained anything to her. Peace came back, the same way silence returned after loud thunder. Weeks later, I finally told my mother a version of what happened, leaving out the parts too frightening to say aloud. She did not scold me the way I expected. She simply held my hands and said she had been praying for me for months, sensing something was wrong long before I admitted it. My younger sister still does not know the full story, OJ, and I am not certain I will ever tell her anything. Some doors, once closed, are better left undescribed in details, even to the people who love you most and only want to understand what pulled you away from them. I am not telling you this confession to frighten you or entertain you. I am telling you because the same door I open are being offered to young Ghanaians every single day, wrapped in prophetic language, sold inside fellowship groups that looked completely harmless from the outside, looking inside. The enemy no longer needs to drag anyone to a shrine outside the choir. He brings the shrine straight to your phone screen at midnight. He does not need a coven meeting anymore. He hides the same coven inside its self-development pages. prophetic number charts, and gentle voices calling themselves guides. I still remember what my grandmother told me long before any of this happened. She said darkness rarely comes looking ugly. It comes looking like light, like wisdom, like something that finally understands you better than your own pastors do. I did not believe her fully until I lived it myself. Every power has a source, whether we admit it during the excitement or not. Every practice invites something behind it, whether we call it energy, frequency, or destiny alignment. Nothing is simply neutral exploration once you hand over your name, your date of birth, and your open, searching heart. I think about the woman from the fellowship group sometimes. I do not know if she ever recognized what she was carrying or whether she believed her own explanation completely. I have not spoken to her since the night I blocked her number, and honestly, I am not sure I ever want to. If you have opened doors like mine, through numbers, cards, stones, or voices you call your higher self, I am not here to shame you. I am here to tell you what I learned the hardest way possible. Only one name closes what I could not close on my own strength. I still get quiet nights sometimes where I feel a faint echo of that old presence brushing past, gone before I can even name it. I do not know if it will fully disappear or if some doors leave a mark that linger longer after they are shut for good. What I know for certain, OJ, is which name I call now when the room feels heavy. I know which name silenced the voice that once claimed ownership over everything I was. I am sharing this confession so somebody else in Kumasi, in Ejisu, in Ibekwai recognize the pattern before it cost them everything. If you are sitting somewhere right now holding a pouch of stones, a chart of numbers, or a voice you have been calling your higher self, please hear me clearly. Put it down tonight. Some doors look small when you open them, but they never stay small once something walks through. This is your Anonymous OJ, and if you are new here, I would like you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and hype this channel. And tell somebody about your Anonymous OJ. I'll see you in our next confession.